All right, and welcome back to the RetroCult Podcast. I am one host, Chuck, and I'm here with Mac. Mac, what's been going on, man?
Oh, nothing much. Just working, keeping busy, and I, did finally get out of the house this week. Did manage to get a few things I think that our retro audience is going to find interesting. I hope so, anyway. How about you?
I mean, just with the craziness and the snow, they have extended the school day for 30 extra minutes, and that
Right.
has been for me, it was fairly easy, but for a lot of the students at school, a lot of the teachers, they're having a little bit of more difficult time adjusting to all of that. And again, I mean, that changes everything in life. That's your practices after school. That is anything extra that you have going on, and students trying to get their bodily schedules wrapped around staying an extra 30 minutes because just even on a regular day, everybody kind of starts winding down and then that bell rings and, everybody kind of seems to think the day's over. So it's been an adjustment. Hopefully this coming up week will be a little bit better. But yeah, I mean, I was able to find some cool stuff, on my usual Friday night stop on the way home. But I'm really looking forward to the comic show and all of the other stuff that we get into this weekend.
Oh yeah, yeah. I figured this in this episode we might do a little talking about things we might be looking for at the show. I know the show. I'm excited about that. I'm also just excited to be because I know that we're gonna kind of plan to go some used bookstores. A lot of cool retro toy stores in the area. Some we've been to in the past. Some that we haven't been, so I'm excited. I am gonna try to stay on budget this time. That always seems to be a problem for me, and so this time I'm gonna try to go definite, like, "This is what I'm looking for." Try not to get distracted by anything else that might be cool, but, you're always you just never know what's gonna pop up.
Yeah, it's really hard. I mean, I'm the worst about talking myself out of something at the first place, just because I think that the next place might have something even more amazing, and then I've ended up kicking myself lots of times, but then sometimes it works out great because I do find something cool. So I just never know what the right thing to do is, but I don't know, what are some things that you're, like, really, really looking for at let's start at the comic show to start off with.
Yeah, with the comic show, as always, I'm trying to finish my run of Marvel Fanfare. I'm within about 10 issues of having a full run on Marvel Fanfare. So I usually have the best luck finding something like that at a comic show. Unfortunately, a lot of the local comic shops don't carry that in their, back issue because they're not necessarily high demand issues. There are one or two that are more than $10, I think, and so it's not like they're expensive. But when I was growing up, Marvel Fanfare, it was the first book Marvel put out that I remember anyway, where it was like on higher quality paper. It was a little more expensive. It wasn't your standard 75-cent comic. I think they were a dollar and eventually went to a dollar 25, but it was a higher quality paper, and every issue kind of teamed up an all-star writer and an all-star artist because no story arc. It was an anthology series, so no story arc lasted more than, I think the longest was 2 issues. I think they were all at most 2 issues. Most were one issue one shots. There might be a backup story in the back, but even that would have, top tier talent on that. So I always loved the concept of that book. It ran for several years, but those are the things I kinda like to collect these days because they are more like they're manageable collections. It's didn't run for 50 years, you know? There aren't books out there that are thousands of dollars that are gonna derail you being able to get the whole collection. So, I'll be looking to finish that off. Uh, I'm also I didn't intend to start trying to build a run of Marvel Age, which is the Marvel
Yes.
promotional magazine they published for years in the form of a comic, because it's really just a preview of things to come, for any month, but they are amazing time capsules of Marvel Comics in the '80s and '90s. So, I always find them anywhere I go. I always run across 1 or 2 issues. They're always cheap, anywhere. Most of the time they're a dollar. I have paid 2 or $3 depending on what it is. Um, so I'll be on the lookout for that. That's not something that I'm always actively on the hunt for, but I always run into them, and if they're cheap enough, I'm gonna buy them.
That's cool, man. I don't know that I specifically have any, comics, that I'm definitely trying to look for. I'm always looking for Sherlock Holmes. There just not seems to be a lot of those out there, and nobody ever seems to have them. And then those random comic books that I like to come across, those are always fun to pick up. Some obscure toy line that also had a comic
I
book line as well. Those are always fun to get.
Yeah, I'm looking for any, really cool, Bronze Age, Marvel, DC, Charlton Comics especially. I love the Charlton Comics, the horror comics that Charlton did, um, back in the '70s into the early '80s. Um, it's always are am on the lookout for those, but there's nothing that I'm actively really looking for. Actually, I take that back. The one thing I'm actively looking for now is I wanna, finish my run of Space 1999. There are only 6 issues in the whole run, and I picked up 2 issues yesterday. Now, 1 is a duplicate. It's an issue I already had, but, it's one of those things, I paid $3 for it. I'm like, if I have an extra one, I'm fine with that. I'm fine with it.
Yeah, I wouldn't be too upset with getting, an
So
extra
I
copy
will
for certain.
definitely be looking for Space 1999 comics as well as the Charlton Space 1999 magazine. Thanks to you, I think I have 2 issues of that, and that also has, I believe, a 6 or 8 issue run too. So again, nothing too long, a very manageable. The hard part with that is just those old comics are just not that easy to find anymore outside of a comic shop.
Yeah, they're random when you pick them up at places for certain.
Yeah, now you have found some at, I think you found both copies of the Space 1999 magazine. I think you found both of those at different times at McKay's.
I've found a
Yeah.
few things. You gotta dig for those, for certain. I would got a little upset in the case. Typically, you can get things for pretty good prices in there,
Mhm.
and they had some Erie magazines the last time I was in. They weren't in any type of, they weren't bagged and boarded. They were just loose, and they shoved the stickers on the cover on the outside, and they were old, and they all have, like, 15, 16, $18 on them, which I think is kind of outrageous prices for
Yeah.
those.
Yeah.
And so I know that I think that it's almost like when Goodwill has something found, they start digging through their stuff more. I think ever since that run of Fantastic Four was found at McKay's and such a big deal was made out of it that now I think they're like really hardcore focusing on their comic books a little bit more, so that they can get as much out of them as they can, but they're overpricing things at this point.
Yeah, I know McKay's, they must be doing well with the, floppy, comics because I every time I go there, the section is bigger.
I mean, anytime that I go, I see there's the same 4 or 5 regular people that I bump into. I even like some of them now, I kinda know the things that they like, so if I see them and I'm at another box, I just start picking things out and handing it off to them. And so, yeah, they do very well, in their comic section. I just
I have found some
sometimes
good stuff in there. I found good stuff in there for good prices. The problem with McKay's sometimes is that, you know, they 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 know what's valuable, what's not. Not that I'm looking to take advantage of anyone, but sometimes it is nice to run across a really good deal. Um, I mean, I found things that I'm interested in, but they're probably worth what I'm paying for them because I'm probably the only person who's interested in them.
yeah, I'm not trying to, take anybody for anything. It's just funny how it seems like sometimes they have a little bit more of a focus on one thing. and then other things slip through the cracks. Like, there's no way that I should have got those Marx figures for 45 cents. Uh, Those
Hey,
were
but
worth way more than
yeah,
that.
don't look a gift horse
Oh,
in the
no,
mouth, but
I'm not angry at
yeah.
all. It's just, it's just the randomness. I do know if you're gonna collect video games, that's not the place to go. You might as well give it up,
Oh,
and I
yeah,
keep
yeah, my son Logan, has already said that. He likes going to McKay's. They have that really nice newer one in Mebane near where he lives. They go there quite a bit, but he has kinda given up on trying to find a a a good deal on video games there.
now books, I don't think they dig too deep into.
No, no, and that's a good thing. I find a lot of you have found for me, and I found a lot of old Daw yellow spines. I usually find at least 1 or 2 yellow spines that I don't have
Yeah,
at a
I've got
decent
some that I
price.
don't even think I've sent you pictures of. I'm really excited to give to you,
Oh, cool.
this coming up weekend. Yeah, I mean, I've gotta get a new Mac box. That thing is slammed.
I can't
So,
wait to see it.
yeah,
I
there's so much stuff. I mean, it's crazy, man.
Wow, yeah, so, as far as comics go, that's really all I'm looking for. On, the book front, I'm still actively looking to complete the, Marvel, novels from the '70s, a set of those, a few years ago when I was traveling to Wisconsin regularly, I always went to Half Price Books, and I think I have 4 of them now, 4 of the Marvel novels, um, and they definitely knew the value on those. I didn't, I paid what they were definitely worth, but I'm glad to have them. But those are those books are the kind of thing I never see those. Like I've never seen them at McKay's. I'll be honest, no bookstore I've been to in our area have I ever even run across one. So uh, I still have them on my app as on my wish list, and I'd love to find them. So, when we're hitting some used bookstores, I'll probably even check at the show. Sometimes you will have somebody that has some old mass market paperbacks. Um, the
Yeah, that's
best,
what I'm excited about. I can't wait to
yeah,
find that booth.
yeah, the best show I've ever been to for that. We should think about going uh, one year is and it's coming up, I think, in March or maybe April. I'll have to double check. There's actually a big convention in Raleigh in the spring, and a few years ago, Laura and I went there. It's a 2-day show. We went for both days, and there was a comic dealer there. He had comic short boxes full of mass market paperbacks and I bought quite a few, but it's one of those I even remember seeing things in those boxes that at the time I passed on, and now I'm kicking myself. I'm like, "Ah, you should have just made him an offer for the box," you know?
Yeah, yeah. I know that, Nerdfest is coming up. I know that, going all the way down to Rock Hill that's quite a drive, but, it sounds like it's gonna be pretty amazing. That's something I'm considering going to, but yeah, I'm hoping that somebody I mean, I'm still on the look for those Crestwood books, and I think that one of these comic shows might be one of the places that I could actually come across one.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
just hope that it's not overpriced because I would hate to have it leave it sitting there, but I can't pay too much for a book.
Well, speaking of the Crestwood monster books, you found a, Scholastic monster book this past weekend, didn't you?
Yeah, so I found a Movie Monsters, paperback. I looking at the pictures on the inside, it's all black and white. It really does remind me of the same things that were in those Crestwood books. I was very excited to find that. And so I'm happy to put that into the collection, but it's one of those that I wanna just read over and over, so kinda hoping I find a second version of it somewhere.
Or you need a reading copy.
I do need a reading copy of that, but it's pretty awesome, so yeah, that I picked that up and I was like, "I wonder what this is," and then I started flipping through it, I was like, "Holy cow, this is a gold mine." So yeah, that was the big pickup, The Movie Monsters, by Stephen Daniels, and so yeah, that probably came from one of the old
Mm.
Scholastic book fairs, that we've talked about before, and,
Yeah.
that's something that I just don't think that people really, if they never got to go to one, I don't think they understand how amazing those are.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Yeah, we, definitely need to that's actually something I'd love to find too, is maybe one of the old Scholastic catalogs from if I could find one from the era where I was actually in elementary school, I'd love to have one of those just to look through it again, but, actually, I found a few interesting things. Yesterday, we stopped by Sailfish Comics in Greensboro, and Jay was working. Love it when Jay's working. Uh it's just great hanging out there, talking comics, Star Trek, everything with him. And it's one of those shops too where he knows me well enough now that he'll actually just set sides of things aside for me just to check. I think you might be interested in this. Like he did that. Dynamite Comics is currently publishing new comics based in the Hanna-Barbera verse. And I love all of those. Space Ghost, Dynamite and Blue Falcon, um, Johnny Quest, all of the I love all that. And well, they've just started Thundar the Barbarian. I didn't know they were starting a Thundar the Barbarian series. And so he had
Ooh,
put
that's
issue
awesome.
1 aside, and I was like, "Oh, you know me well. Yes, I want that." But the cool thing is they've just got a new collection in of some Bronze Age, just a Bronze Age mix of, Charlton, DC, Marvel, Gold Key, Dell Gold Key books. So he let me go through it. They hadn't even bagged and boarded or processed them yet. And so I was looking through, found some just stuff. Well, that's where I found the 2 issues of Space 1999. So one I already had. This one's a slightly worse copy than the one I have. So I'm like, this will go on the spinner rack, you know? Um, but then there was an issue I didn't have. And I also found a GI Combat from the late 70s. I'm all about GI Combat, the haunted tank. Um, Really interesting series. I don't know if you would this might be before your time. I'm pretty sure the show is definitely before your time. I just don't know whether you would have ever seen reruns. But in the 70s, Patrick Duffy was in a science fiction show called The Man from Atlantis. I don't know if you're familiar with that show at all.
No, that's not one that I remember.
It's, I do remember it as a kid, because it's about this, the main character, Patrick Duffy's character, he can breathe underwater, he can swim, I mean, he's this Aquaman, essentially, but he doesn't have any memory of where he came from, and of course, there's a whole government organization, kinda like the one that Steve Austin worked for, that, where he basically becomes a spy. It's kind of a Cold War spy thriller show, but they're also trying to uncover where he actually came from. Um, but anyway, Marvel Comics did a brief run based on that show, and I've had issue 1 for quite a few years, but, it's one of those again, you don't really see them very often. Well, in this box of comics they had just bought, they had probably out of the full run probably only runs 8 to 10 issues. I was able to pick up, like, 7 issues yesterday. So I'm not far away from completing the run on that. And, he gave me a really great price on them, and I'm just like, "Alright, I can't wait to sit down," and that's one I definitely would, like to do a deep dive on that comic series, maybe it's tie into the TV show. I'll have to share when I do the video, I'll share a link to, I think Stan Fine has a video about the man from Atlantis. So he's always fun to watch.
That's cool.
But, so there were some great things in the box. Um, I did also pick up 2 issues of Uncanny X-Men. Uh, X-Men Uncanny X-Men 212 and 213, which is a 2-issue fight between Wolverine and Sabretooth, and he had 'em priced really well, so I bought both of those, and the thing about those that I remember the most is, um, when I was in high school, you know me, even as an adult, I'm really more of a DC guy than a Marvel guy. There are definite Marvel characters I love, and but I've generally been more as a DC reader than a Marvel reader. But I remember in high school, one of my good friends, Zach Upright, he was more of a Marvel guy, specifically the X-Men. And I remember we were sitting on the steps of the fine arts building at the high school I attended in the morning waiting for classes to start and, talking comics as we did. And he actually gave me those 2 issues of the X-Men. It's like, to borrow. He was like, "Just you gotta read these." He's like, "This is one of the best superhero fights ever." And the artwork's by Alan Davis. You can't go wrong. It's during the Chris Claremont era. We're talking peak X-Men here. I think it is also right around the time of the Mutant Massacre, which is one of the big events that went on at the time. So I borrowed them, I read them, and I was like, "Oh, damn, he's right. This was an epic fight." Like I said, the fight itself lasts like 2 issues, and it's amazing. So, uh, as soon as I saw that he had those and they were, like, in beautiful condition for, like, $20 each, I was like, I gotta break down and buy this. I definitely want. I'm not a big X-Men fan, these days, really never was. I mean, I thought those were great, but X-Men was never really my bag, but, outside of the '90s, cartoon, I think that was the first time where I really got into the X-Men was the cartoon, and that's just because it did such a great job of condensing the long history of the X-Men, and they hit all the high points with the major events and everything. They really encapsulated the essence of the X-Men. So, I do love the cartoon.
Yeah, the cartoon is, definitely one of my favorites, and that's I mean, I think that's definitely one thing about me, like, I really do enjoy all of the cartoons. Some of them I like more than, the movies and the comic books, to be honest, and that's probably just me growing up in the '80s, and growing up on cartoons on Saturday mornings and in the
Mhm.
afternoons, probably.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, cartoons were a huge part of my childhood. That's why, as I said, we've talked about it that, we have plans for the podcast to, definitely do a deep dive retrospective into the Super Friends. I'll be honest, I wouldn't mind doing, deep dives into the original, Scooby-Doo cartoons. I think those are still some of the best cartoons ever.
Well, Scooby-Doo meets the Super Friends is where we're headed to then.
Oh, yeah, 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 exactly. Well, and they had the original that's the thing, it's hard to kinda keep up with the Scooby-Doo series because they you remember all of them from your childhood, but there really were a lot, like, it was I think the original one was the Scooby-Doo, Where Are You? And that one focuses just on Scooby-Doo and the gang, and then they went into there was the next Scooby-Doo series was the one where Scooby-Doo and the gang were teaming up with a famous person in every episode.
Yeah.
Sometimes real people, sometimes not. Of course, the classic episode of that is where Scooby and the gang meet Batman and Robin.
Yeah.
That is yeah, even to this day, that's peak pop culture for me.
It's so good, though. That episode's so awesome,
Yep,
because they
yep.
blend over just perfectly. With Cassandra, watching her shows, I actually really like the Supernatural Scooby-Doo crossover too. I mean, it's easily my favorite episode in that whole series, because I just think it's awesome the way they did that, and I'm sure those 2 actors getting to be put into cartoons that they grew up on, that had to be a childhood dream of theirs.
Oh, yeah, yeah. So, yeah, I know that, yeah, there are tons of cartoons I remember growing up with that I would love to revisit with you, and let's talk about them. Some of them might be ones you've never seen before. Some might be some I've never seen before. One I would definitely love to talk more about because I don't think it gets enough love is in the late '80s. Ruby Spears did a Superman cartoon, and it was kind of set in the, I guess, cinematic universe of the time, in that it shares a lot of DNA with the Christopher Reeve Superman movies. The theme sounds a whole lot like the John Williams Superman theme. They kind of I won't say it's a direct continuation of that universe, but it shares a lot with that, and you can tell they also merged in what at the time was new lore with John Byrne rebooting Superman and the Man of Steel. A lot of that made its way into this cartoon. Um, so like Superman wasn't necessarily the as powerful as the classic Silver Age Superman. You know, John Byrne had toned his powers down a bit. Um, trying to go for a more, I'm using air quotes, realistic take on Superman, which I love the Man of Steel. I love John Byrne's run on that. I think that they did a great job. Krypton definitely had more of a John Byrne take on Krypton. It wasn't kind of the Krypton of the Christopher Reeve movies, but you can tell they kind of merged these two ideas and they came up with a great cartoon. And I think the animation holds up very well today. And that's one that you don't hear a lot of people talking about. I've seen a few videos pop up on YouTube where people talk about it. I actually love the cartoon. I don't think it gets enough love. So we'll have to kind of do a dive into that one day too.
Yeah, that sounds good. This is gonna be kind of a random question. I don't know. And it's just when you're talking about the different times that Superman, when did Candor come into play in Superman? Is that an older thing? Is
No,
that a
yeah,
newer thing?
that's like a Silver Age kind of like, I think Candor, the bottled city of Candor, I think started in the 60s might have been the first time it showed up.
Okay.
Yeah,
I mean, the big reason why I know about it is, like, it's one of the major stories on one of the Superman records that I have, and then I remember there's a cover of a comic book where that is the prominent thing on there that I remember having when I was younger, and I don't still have that, and I would always love to I would probably pick it up if I found it, just
yeah.
because it would be just one of those childhood things.
Yeah, no, yeah, it looks like Candor's first appearance was in Action Comics to 19,
Okay.
so it's been a while, yeah, so
That's
yeah,
way
yeah,
back then.
it's been a long I do think one of the coolest things, kinda toys, I know that it was a kind of a recurring feature in Big Bang Theory in Raj's apartment on, I think, his dining room table. He has a replica of the bottled city of Candor.
Oh, that's awesome.
I remember seeing it all the time because that's the really one of the cooler parts of that show, or the things I enjoyed was just looking at the stage dressing, because whoever did the stage dressing for that really went all out with pop culture references with toys and, uh, or maybe it was Leonard that had the city of Candor, and Raj, I think, had the collection of the different colors of kryptonite, which all of these are actual things that DC Direct, I believe, made back in the day, back in like the 90s and the 2000s. And so it's kind of cool to see those things. But there is actually a replica out there of the bottled city of Candor.
That's one of those things that I think if I happen to see and it was the right price, I might actually pick up. That's kinda cool.
Yeah, you'd probably be interested in. They did a storyline it was in the late 2000s, kind of right before it was right before they did the big reboot to the DC New 52. It's like one of the last major Superman arcs before they kind of rebooted the whole universe again. Um, they had a story arc called New Krypton where Kandor was actually restored to its actual was restored back to like a full size Kryptonian city, and of course, all of the people in Kandor became immediately superpowered. And so there was a whole story arc where they found basically created another planet on the opposite side of the sun from Earth, that they dubbed New Krypton. And I may be getting some of the details of this story wrong because as it's now been about 16 years or more since I actually read that story. Um, but I always thought that was an interesting story is what would happen if the people of Kandor ever were to, because they're kept in the Fortress of Solitude under a red sun lamp so that they're just normal Kryptonians. And Superman is trying to find a way to restore them to size, but ideally somewhere else, because you could imagine that that could be bad for the native population of Earth if all of a sudden you have millions of superpowered beings, and they might not all have Superman's outlook.
Yeah, I mean, if you're
Yeah,
talking about a whole city, the odds of some of them not being
good
the
people.
the best of people is pretty high.
Mhm. So, but anyway, that's an interesting story. I'll have to, um but if you're interested in, Candor and all of that, that was an interesting take on that story, or a culmination of that story, I guess I should say, that you might actually be interested in reading.
Yeah, it sounds like it'd be something fun to look at. It kinda takes me to something like a little I mean, it's similar, but not really. I saw a guy create, a lamp for his living room, and the middle of the lamp was, clear glass, and he filled all of that up with just Greedo action figures. And so I thought that was a really cool lamp, and that's always been in the back of my mind. I'm gonna do something like this one of these days. And, on one of my stops on the way home, I found a new barber because the lady that I guess the same lady that does Laura's hair is gone too, so I don't know what
Yeah.
she's doing. I just went to the barber shop here in Old Town, and on the way home, I stopped by Goodwill, and I found this massive, glass jar. It's probably for brewing or something, I don't know what it is, and it was really, really cheap, and I was like, "I'm gonna get this, and I'm gonna fill it with action figures." And now I'm looking at it, I'm like, "Do I wanna fill it all with the same action figure? Do I fill it with muscle men? Do I fill it up with, like, maybe, like, not so great shape Ghostbusters?" And I have to make sure it fits through the top of it too, because it's all glass, so it's a fixed opening to get them into, unlike the
How
lamp.
wide is the opening?
I get have to go back down and stare, man. I know that a regular size Star Wars figure or G.I. Joe would fit perfectly in that.
Okay, but
Uh,
nothing much bigger than that is gonna.
you're probably gonna be pushing it when you get a little bit bigger than that. I thought about throwing it with Legos. I think that would look with just random Lego pieces because that would look really neat. Because you could start the bottom layer in a certain color and alternate colors all the way to the top. But, I don't collect Legos that much, so I'm probably gonna do the action figure thing.
Yeah, my first thought, because you mentioned it, and I know you love these, are the Muscle Men. I think you should fill it with Muscle Men.
That's gonna
Now,
be so expensive.
it may take a ton of Muscle
Oh, well,
Men.
yeah. It was gonna take a ton of bus it's a 6-gallon jar.
Oh,
So
wow.
yeah, it's gonna take a lot, but I think it would look man, is it gonna look so cool. And I think I'm just gonna, like, as I start adding figures from the very first figure to the very last figure, as I add them, I'm gonna take pictures, and I'll wait to the end to post
Yeah,
all of that because
yeah, you
it's gonna
should
take a long time.
yeah, you should definitely you should shoot a little video of it every time it reaches a certain milestone, like, like, you should do one, "Here's my first figure going in."
Yeah.
Do it, "Alright, we're at, we're 1/3 full, we're half full, we're 2/3 full, now we're full. Last figure going in." There
Yeah,
you go.
maybe to be like the guy that collects all those Titanic VHSs people can like just send me stuff in the mail that they don't want. Because I'm gonna be honest with you, like it doesn't matter what action. If I do Muscle Man, if I do Ghostbusters action figures, I don't want to put like high quality things in there. Like if it's missing an arm or a foot or something, I don't care. It's just gonna fill up this glass jar. No one's gonna notice that. It's just gonna be a jar full of something. And I think it'll just be a really cool piece sitting in the floor once I get it done. But I'm excited about doing that. I think it's gonna be a fun adventure trying to find those and collect them uh, as time goes on.
That's a cool little project. That
Yeah.
that sounds really cool.
I may put one muscle man in there and keep that on my phone, and when I go to these toy stores, it's show them the picture, and maybe they'll be more likely to give me a good deal on a bunch of them.
Yeah, yeah, and I don't know, you say it's gonna cost a fortune without because the muscle men are small, but even with Star Wars figures, that's gonna be
Oh, it's oh, yeah.
that could get crazy too.
It's
Uh,
gonna be expensive no matter what I end up doing. I think the Legos would be the cheapest thing because you can just buy those in bulk and get them at yard sales pretty cheap all the time and just separate out the colors, but I'm not gonna do Legos. It's
yeah,
gonna be
yeah,
action figures.
that's a project for Laura.
Yeah,
That's a Laura project because
yeah.
she loves Legos,
I
but,
think she would like that. So, I mean, I think that would be something she would get
yeah,
into. If I find another one, I'm gonna pick it up for her.
yeah, that's a great idea. That is a great idea.
So, and I'm still on the look for that ladder too, since we were talking about displaying our
Yep.
sleeping bags at one time. I'm gonna find one of 'em.
I already have one planned. Like I said, I have one that's full of hats right now.
Yeah.
Those hats are definitely going in the closet. And right now, the only sleeping bag I have is the Superman one you gave me. And but now I will be because as soon as I mentioned it to Laura, she loved the idea. And so now, of course, I don't know where we would when we'll find it or find it where or how much, but she wants to definitely find a Dukes of Hazzard
I'm
sleeping bag.
surprised they don't still have their sleeping bags. They kept everything.
I guess, but I guess it would have been in the basement, and we were all involved in that clean out
I
years
mean, we went
ago.
through everything and it just
Yeah.
wasn't there. So I maybe it's just one of those things that over time got worn out, but I'm definitely it's on my radar now when because I have put a bunch of sleeping bags back over the years, thinking, it
Like,
wasn't as
where am
cool
I
as
gonna display this? How am I
pretty
gonna
much because I knew I had one. I wasn't putting the Superman when I found you back because 'cause I'd never even seen that before, and I
Yeah.
love the, art on it, but
Oh, yeah, well,
now
like, ones I would
yeah,
love to find are Star Trek, Space
yeah,
1999, clearly, Star Wars. I would
absolutely.
love a Star Wars one, especially if it had the same design pattern as the sheets, because I think every kid in the late '70s had to have a set of Star Wars sheets, but I would love to have that. I don't know whether I wouldn't doubt that they did, but I would hope there's a Super Friends sleeping bag out there somewhere. I'd love
I
to
think
find
that's the
that.
one that I have is Super Friends.
Oh, Super Friends, very cool, very
Yeah,
cool.
I'm pretty certain that's I don't know if it's
I
the
remember
cartoon, but
the
it's definitely the crew of Super Friends on the sleeping bag.
the coolest thing about the Friends sheet set from when I was a kid that even as a kid, I appreciated the symmetry of it was that on the pillowcase you had the lineup of the Super Friends, and it's like the full extended lineup. Like it's not just the core, there's that standard the opening credits thing where you have Superman, Wonder Woman, Batman, Robin, Aquaman, and then you have Marvin, Wendy, and Superdog. This one was like a full lineup where you had Superman, you had the Flash, Green Lantern, um, you had the characters that you didn't always see in every episode, but what was cool was so you've got this extended line on one side, lineup of the heroes, but when you flip the pillow over, it was the lineup of the villains, and they're all in the same spot as the hero that they're opposing.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah,
It
the sleeping
was
bag I have is
so
definitely not
cool,
Super
and
Friends.
I would love if they made us I think that would be a cool feature on the sleeping bag too, would be if you had the heroes on one side and then on the other side of the sleeping bag were the villains. That'd be kinda neat.
Yeah, yeah, there is a Super Friends,
Oh,
sleeping bag out there.
that
That's the
one you
one I
have
have.
is so yours is just superheroes,
Superheroes,
but
yeah.
god, that is so cool. It's got those images they're using. I wish we could do a
I know, I need to
you
do a
you
video
need
on
to
that.
do a video on that because the, all the images and in this one, Superman's actually breaking the chain. He's not even just stretching it across his chest. He's
It
actually
is
breaking
broken.
It's breaking.
The coast is
Um,
over.
yeah, but anyway, all of these, if you go look at the comics from the, Bronze Age, 70s, these are the little bubbles like the, corner boxes. In the upper left corner, it would have the hero, and these are the images they use. So, a Superman comic would have that Superman breaking the chain.
That's cool.
Aquaman has Aquaman doing his dive. The Batman, I don't know exactly what he's doing in that pose, but looks cool, I
Yeah.
guess.
I keep seeing yours, and I can't find that sleeping bag of yours for under 160,
No, wow,
which
wow.
is insane. I mean, good gracious.
But yeah,
That's
your idea of displaying them on the ladders that on those, Hobby Lobby ladders,
oh, that
that's
that came
definitely
from
happening.
Reddit, man. I stole that off of Reddit.
Ah, well, as
Yeah,
Steve
whatever.
Jobs said, uh, good artists borrow, great artists steal.
I mean, we'll
Yeah.
do it's gonna look cool when we get it done. I know that.
Oh, yeah, yep.
Well, then, I mean, yeah, I mean, obviously, there's very limited things, and I don't think we're gonna find a lot of toys at the comic show, although some people do have small little pockets of toys.
I am pretty
Uh,
sure that that one action figure guy is gonna be there.
I'm sure I'll stop by
At
there.
the yeah, I that's where we found Grant's Booberry figure.
Okay.
Uh, I think that was at that tiny show up here in Clemens. Uh, is that where we found that? I forget where we
Yeah, I
were,
think
but
that is where you found
yeah,
it.
and that guy, he is great because he, even though he carries mostly, it's all new stuff. He's not, it's not vintage toys, but he at least does always. He has such a deep selection of new stuff that you just don't see. Like I'm hoping uh, that since because I believe I saw him on the guest list. Now I'm hoping the only problem with this show is, uh, as we discussed in an earlier episode, this show was supposed to happen at the end of January, and because of the big snow, it got delayed a month. So I'm hoping he is still gonna be able to attend because I know he was originally going to be there because he had it listed on his Facebook page as one of the shows. So I need to check and make sure he is gonna be there because I think he's probably my best chance on finding the evil Superman from the Super Friends, the McFarlane Super Friends figures. I think he's my best shot at getting one because I have not seen one in the wild. I did find evil Batman in the wild, but I have not seen the evil Superman in the wild at all. And on eBay, they're already going for like 65 bucks. And I'm not paying that for a figure that at most should cost $20. I mean, I may pay more than that, but his prices are always reasonable. If he has one for $25, I will probably buy it.
Yeah, that would be a good deal. Well, I mean, once we leave there, and I mean, I don't think we'll spend forever in there because there's only so
Mhm.
much that you can do. I mean,
Yeah,
we've
yeah, it's
got
gonna be a small
record
show.
stores and
Yeah.
toy shops and used bookstores, and so there's just so many things that we can find. So I think I know we've been talking a lot about getting back into our uh, video making routine as well. I think I may not do as big of a video on the show itself. I might do a little bit of footage there. I think I am going to do some uh, a little bit deeper dive into things that I pick up
Yep.
and that Grant and Cassandra picks up for the whole time because it is kind of fun to show the things that you get and why you got them and
Yep.
learn a little bit
Yep.
out there. So I got
Yeah.
to get back into the routine of that. So I think that's what I'm doing.
That's definitely my plan too. My big focus has been I'm trying to get my, um, collection a bit more organized, and I'm trying to, between the toys and the comics and the books, I'm trying to get a little more organized, to realize what I do have. Um And so I need to that's my plan. I've already pulled aside several things from like, I want to do a video about this, even if it's not a really deep dive. I kind of at least want to kind of touch this because I think there are probably other people out there who would be interested in that. And so I've already pulled aside several things that I want to do videos on. It's just As I mentioned, over the past couple of weeks, we're in the middle of a big move at my office. We're moving to a new office, and that basically has my that's thrown a monkey wrench into, work life balance over the past couple of weeks. So that's coming to an end. We're actually moving into the new office this week. So ideally, things will be calming back down on the work front, and I can get back to actually shooting video. Because looking back at it, other than podcasts, I haven't done a video since the end of October. I can't believe it's already been that long,
Yeah,
but
I'm sure mine's past that.
so
Once
I've got
school
to
started, I got into a rut, man.
yeah, so I've got to get back into that habit. But it's gonna happen. I have, like I said, I have quite a few things that I already want to show off, and um, we have the new RetroCult shooting mats. I'm excited about shooting a video on one of those. Um, so just, I think that's just going to give us a nice look to our videos. So, I so anybody listening, definitely keep an eye on the channel on YouTube, and follow us and subscribe, and just make sure, because I do think there's some cool stuff coming. One of the things that I was going to mention to you that this is this is a new thing, but it definitely it scratches that retro itch. When we were at Selfish yesterday, Image Comics, they've been doing these GI Joe and Transformers compendiums. They're really actually very affordable reprints of the old Marvel GI Joe and Transformers series from the 80s. Each issue has like 50 issues in it, and the pages are still printed on newsprint, so they're not super heavy, and I mean, they're $65 for one, but that's 50 comics in it. That's actually a pretty reasonable deal for the amount of reading that you're going to get. Well, already have, like, the first 2 Transformers and G.I. Joe volumes, but they just released the Transformers UK compendium that reprints the Transformers UK comics from that same time period, and I had not really looked at these before, but Jay recommended it. He was like, "I've heard that these are some of the best Transformers stories." Uh and they he says they really get weird, because in some of them, the Transformers get transported. I think in one story, they get transported back to, like, Camelot, the age of Camelot, and everything, and I'm like, "Alright, that hooked me right there." So, I did buy the UK compendium, so, I'm sure we will be I can't wait to show it to you next weekend when we're together, but that's definitely like, "Okay, we need to talk about this."
That sounds like a wild story that might come out of that.
Yeah, yeah, that's, really, really cool. So I'm just glad that they're you know, not restricting it to just the American comics. Because one channel I would like to recommend to you and to anybody listening is there. There's a channel on YouTube called Still Only 35 Cents. He's a British comic collector. He has some. He's done some deep dives into some amazing storylines for Miracle Man, Captain Britain, a lot of the Marvel comics from the 70s and 80s. But he did a recent video where he is reviewing some of the giveaways that they used to do in British comics. And it literally made me green with envy how cool this stuff was. And I'm like, why didn't we do more of this? Because um, I would highly recommend that you check out the video. I'll send you a link in the description for this podcast. When I post it to YouTube, I'll include a link to his video. Well worth a watch. Uh, Anything from little paper airplane kits to one Marvel comic actually gave away a Spider-Man mask in every issue, and it's literally a printed paper bag with eye holes. It
Wow.
is it is the cheesiest, coolest thing I've ever seen. I'm like, "Oh, I would love." if I had that, I would definitely have that framed. Um, the Star Wars, he covered the first 2 issues of the British Star Wars comics from Marvel. Each came with a little paper airplane kit that you assembled. In issue 1, it was an X-wing, and in issue 2, it is a TIE fighter. And I'm like, "Okay, see, that is just like, why didn't we?" I would have loved to have seen more stuff like that in America.
Yeah, I do, I'm like you, I get jealous. I know we were talking about those, the, bases to the sticks to
Oh, yes, those
the
yeah, they call them what, lollies
the
in the
lollies,
UK?
yeah, in
Yeah.
over the UK, and so, like but then I see all the things that we get that they don't have because I know that they get awful jealous of us as well, so,
Mhm. Mhm.
I don't know that
Oh,
I don't know
yeah.
that I would trade it, but I understand
Yeah.
the envy of the things, and I hope I don't find some of those things. I know they're gonna be expensive, but it would be something that I would really have to, spend some time considering picking up. Um
Well, I was one idea that I would like us to do for an upcoming episode of the podcast, it's gonna take a little research on our part, I think, to kinda pull our thought memories together and actually, do a little research, but I would love for us to do an episode of our favorite cereal box and or Happy Meal toys from our
Oh,
childhood.
absolutely.
I would love to do that. It's just gonna take me a little bit of time, and those could be 2 separate things. I mean, I actually think kids today they're missing out on a lot of things that I think are really cool, but Saturday morning cartoons are one of them, but the other is, toy prizes and cereal. There
Oh,
was nothing
man.
like it. There
No,
was
there
nothing
wasn't
like
anything
it.
like that. That was definitely one of those things that, I really enjoyed. I was actually at school, this, like, the ripped up jeans is, like, it's never gone away, but I feel like it's really coming back full force.
Yeah.
And so, one of my students had, like, on a pair of really ripped up jeans and just jokingly, was like, "I hope you at least got those for half off because I don't even think you have that much of the jeans left." And they laughed, and then, the teacher started talking about how, parents would not let them have, those kinda jeans because they just wouldn't pay for those things back in the day.
Mhm.
And, I remember the one this is one of the biggest times I got in trouble. I had a Count Chocula stamp. And so I would rub on the out and I just had Count Chocula's head. I had a very dark pair of jeans, and I would rub on the outline of the Count Chocula in bleach, and I would stamp it on the jeans. And I did that for the entire pair of jeans. It was nothing but like little 1-inch heads of Count Chocula for the entire pair of
And
jeans, front and
your
back.
mom did not like that,
Ah, I
huh?
was in so much
Oh, yeah.
trouble, and she
Oh,
wouldn't let me wear them.
oh god. Oh, see, that's another thing we could talk about is the biggest time pop culture got us in trouble. Um, I'll just throw mine out right now. Similar along that, my parents had just done like a remodel of our kitchen at the house I grew up in. New cabinets, everything. It was great. I immediately took the Marvel stickers where they have these terrible puns on them. It's like all the different Marvel
Oh, I
characters.
love those things, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. They actually a few years ago released a sticker album with reprints of all of those, and I bought 2 of them because 'cause I'm like, I want to actually use the stickers, from one, but I wanna keep one, nice. Uh, but I had some of those, and literally went in and just stuck them onto my mom's new cabinets. Oh boy, I that's probably the closest I ever came to death as a child.
Yeah, I'm sure you got in quite a bit of trouble for that.
Yeah, luckily they were luckily they scraped off okay without leaving any permanent damage other than to my stickers, which were destroyed. But
Oh,
my mom and dad did not care about that
no,
one
I'm
little
sure
bit.
they did not care about
And
that at all.
yeah, but I still remember that because I just thought, "Oh, these are awesome. I'm gonna just stick them right here." And, I mean, it would have been bad in any situation, but the fact that my parents had just remodeled the kitchen made it even worse.
Yeah, I'll have to think about when I
It sounds
got
like
in them.
yeah, the that was good thinking though, using the Count Chocula stamp and dipping it in bleach.
It was meticulous too, man, because if you put too much bleach, then it would, do the whole circle. So I
Yep.
literally have like those little tiny paintbrushes for watercolors, and I would dip it in the bleach, and I would just run on the outline of the Count Chocula.
The yeah, see, we really these things did really make us more creative, I think.
Yeah. Well, no, I mean, even the cereal box, like, there was so much stuff to do with the
Yeah.
cereal box
Yep.
because there was trivia and there were mazes and there were things to read and I mean, yeah, I probably read and did the same thing like 15 times that week, but it was entertaining and I wasn't stuck on a phone or I wasn't,
Well, I always thought they were missing a trick because one of the reasons I've heard for the why toys and cereal boxes kinda went away and is that the prizes and what you're talking about, the fun box art and stuff, although I will admit I still do see, like, kids like, the sugary cereals generally do have can have a maze or something on the back, but they're usually really generic. I really loved it when there was the branded tie-in to something else that I was really into, like Looney Tunes, um or superheroes clearly, or when Star Wars came out, there were Star Wars cereals, there were Star Wars tie-ins and giveaways in other brands of cereal. So, I love that. But one of the things I always thought they missed a trick on is because one of the reasons they said they started getting rid of that is like, "Oh, well, this is encouraging children to eat sugary cereals." They see it with the cute mascot and the colorful box, and I'm like, well, then use that to your advantage. Put the cool mascot and the colorful and put a cool toy in the healthy cereal. Why don't you do that instead of just getting rid of it?
yeah, I mean, I understand that, but I mean, it
That might
was
make the kids want to, let's face it, because uh, even the sugariest of cereals, there were cereals that I bought that I would try to get my parents to buy, and they a lot of times would buy me. That if I were honest, I hated the cereal.
I can't think of any cereals that I ever bought that I hated.
There were
I
there was there were a few I can think of that were just like, yeah, they're sugary, but that doesn't mean sugary doesn't equal good.
Yeah, I understand that. I mean, I know a
Yep.
lot of people hated the Mr. T's, but I love Mr. T
Oh,
cereal.
no, I like the Mr. T's. I mean, I think it was the exact same cereal as the, C-3POs,
Probably.
and I think they reused it again for the Batman cereal in
Hey,
1989.
those were
I think
those
it
were
was
good too.
the sweet corn cereal. Now those I like. Um one of the regular brands of cereal that I was never a fan of on its own is the standard Captain Crunch, because my opinion has always been, why would I just want Captain Crunch without the crunch berries in it?
Yeah,
And
once
of
they added the
course,
Crunch Berries, of
and
course.
now, oh yeah, well, and now, now they have the just crunch berries. I'm like,
Well,
If
okay.
I was a kid, that would have been my go-to. I love those crunch berries.
Well, they also sell the big giant bags of just the Lucky Charms, marshmallows.
I did not know that.
Yeah,
Really? In the
yeah,
cereal aisle?
you gotta go to the right
Or is
place,
it
but
in the marshmallow aisle?
no,
Is it with the
sometimes they have
marshmallows?
them they'll do these, what they'll do in the Lucky Charms one, you can go in the cereal aisle and get just the bag, a big box of nothing but, the marshmallows, but you can buy them in some places. I see them every once in a while. I
No.
know I mean, Cassandra and I were at that store up in, Mount Airy, they had, bags of nothing but Lucky Charms, marshmallows in the whole bag. But now that you say, you know what, man, like, I mean, as much as I love Count Chocula, I don't necessarily like the Frankenberry.
I would say if we were to, and this could be an episode in and of itself, is
Oh, absolutely.
let's rank the monster cereals. Um, I believe it or not, I've got a controversial take on that, because my favorite monster cereal is one they don't even make regularly anymore, which is Fruit Brute.
Well, Fruit
That
Broots,
that
awesome.
is my favorite because it's a cherry flavored cereal, and that's unusual. I can't remember most everything that's fruit flavored is strawberry and, like, Frankenberry. Um, and I always preferred cherry flavor over strawberry flavor, and so I love Fruit Brute, and when they came out with that a few years ago, I bought I think, I got one for you if I don't mistake, but, Sam's Club had the big giant box with every one of the boxes in it, and I love the Fruit Brute. Yummy Mummy is another one I really like that again only gets made they trot it out for an anniversary every so often, but it's not made regularly. But I'm with you, Count Chocula is the best. That's actually probably even though I'd say Fruit Brute's my favorite, if they made it regularly, out of the ones they make regularly, I would definitely go Count Chocula, Boo Berry, then Frankenberry.
Frankenberry, yeah. I do wish they did, Yummy Mummy, and I wish they did Fruit Brute more, and I know they tried really hard with the Carmella, I wish they would I
I
wish
did
they would give it another shot, and it's so funny, and you'll love this, we were talking about the monster cereals, with my students, and, we were looking at all the different flavors, and a all the time, this comes up all the time. They wanna know why there's not, like, a ghoulish grape or something some kind of a
Oh my
grape
god, that
flavor.
is a great idea.
As soon as
That
I was
is
like
a great idea.
that's like my brother-in-law would love that. I was like, I he would buy so many boxes of grape flavored
Yeah,
cereal.
ghoulish grape, man, that's and even the name, that writes
Oh, yeah, they
itself.
killed it, man.
You've
That
got some
yeah.
smart kids. You got some
I
smart
mean,
kids.
th they're they're the odd ones that,
Yeah.
everybody thinks that, they're weird and they've got their little group, and they'll probably end up somewhere like the School of the Arts because they are very different.
Yeah.
But they have, like, this really unique way of thinking, and we were talking about how terrible that cereal, the Carmella cereal is, because like, caramel flavored cereal is just not good,
Hey,
and
I'm trying to think if I'm sure there are other caramel flavored cereals out there. None spring to mind. Like, I'm trying to think because the next flavor of cereal I've always loved is anything peanut butter flavored, like the Captain Crunch peanut butter crunch. I loved that as a kid.
dark chocolate Reese's is pretty good.
Yeah, yeah, so I'm always wondering, like, what could you do with a have your kids come up with a peanut butter monster
A
cereal.
peanut butter monster, yeah.
Yeah, that'd be an interesting one. Uh, yeah,
Well,
with my love of the creature from the
that's
Black
what I was going to. They
Lagoon,
gotta
what
come
are
out with a
we
creature.
oh, creature, I mean, I can think of the flavor of the cereal. I can't think of how the name would work, like, with the creature and everything. But if you're gonna go with a green cereal, go with, like, an apple flavored cereal, like Applejack or something. That would be
Yeah.
pretty good, yeah. And most of those apple cereals are green,
Well,
so
they could
you
go
could
candy
definitely
apple or something, I guess.
or candy apple well, which includes the caramel, there you go. You could even
Yeah.
roll some of the caramello into the caramel apple syrup, but again, I don't know exactly
Nah.
you gotta
Stay away
come up
from
with
that.
a cool mascot name
Yeah, I do
too.
think I think you're right. I think if they maybe started leaning more into, some of the more famous monsters, and again, I loved her. I was excited. I was like, "Oh my gosh, they've tried something new," which is what we're always complaining about,
Mm.
and then the cereal just wasn't good, and I hated the Stranger Things cereal from this year. It was terrible.
I haven't even s
I
I saw the boxes, I didn't realize it was its own flavor, though.
Yeah, it's, like syrupy waffle flavored, and it's just to me, is not good.
Mm.
We bought it mainly for the box because the box art is really awesome, and they did a great job of, making everything seem '80s, and it was great, and so I don't even think Luke opened his. I think Luke kept his and just left it in the box, and that's probably what I should have done, but we wanted to try it.
Did it include a toy or prize inside?
Nah, no
Oh,
no
come
toy, no
on now.
prizes.
If how can you make it be the '80s and not include
I
that?
mean, I
Should have a prize
are
inside.
they allowed to put prizes inside
That's
of
the thing,
toys anymore?
I guess maybe that's why when they did that one special promotion for Fantastic Four, the cereal was $20 a box. I was like I wanted to do that. I wanted to get those, but some of these promotions they do, I'm like, no wonder I can't imagine how they're successful. Let me just say, I'm not gonna say they were failures, I don't know. But I cannot see how you're gonna do a movie crossover with the Fantastic Four, and you're gonna do retro style boxes of cereals that were actually in the movie, like Lucky Charms. Like, this is a great idea. Just put these on the shelf at regular price and sell them. I would have bought them all, but they do a couple of things. First, they're online only, so you have to buy them from Walmart, and they're Walmart only too. So, um, they're online only, and then they cost $20 a box, and the prize inside is literally a two-dimensional. I'm not even sure if they were. I think they were plastic. They better be plastic, but a little two-dimensional plastic figure of one of the Fantastic Four.
Yeah, that
They
was the worst ever. I mean, that was just the
I
worst
know,
choice
as
of a
opposed to
toy.
just a if you're gonna s if I'm spending $20 to buy your box of cereal, like, I honestly am like, there better be a Marvel Legends figure in there,
Yeah.
you know? I'm
I know
like,
another big fail, and I think they're about to fail twice, is the Oreos because I was super excited about the new
oh,
Marvel Oreos.
The Avengers or are they Marvel or specifically
I
Avengers?
think they're Marvel because, there's Spider-Man and Human
Okay.
Torch and other people, but I found some at Walmart and I picked them up and, we were gonna, you know, bring them over to your house and we were gonna get together a few weeks ago and then that got, canceled and everything, so we went ahead and opened them up, and all they do is turn your entire mouth blue, and I mean, like, almost impossible to get off of your tongue blue.
Oh,
And there's a Doctor Doom one coming out, and all they do is turn your tongue green. Like, put a mini comic in there,
yeah, yeah,
something. I mean, yes, it's cool that they have the shapes of the people's faces on the cookie.
but you can't keep the cookie, I
You
mean,
can't keep the cookies forever. It's like, and I mean, the art on the is pretty neat, and the Doctor Doom Oreos are pretty cool looking on the outside. But if all it's going to do is turn my tongue green, it's sad to say I'm probably not even going to buy those.
yeah, yeah, I'm with you on that.
'Cause it's not a
Uh
new flavor, it's not
that's the
anything
thing I
wild.
feel like they miss the boat on a lot of times is if you're don't just add food coloring or dye to it. Like, if you're gonna make it a different color, like, give me different flavors in there. Like, it would be kinda cool, and I know this is would make them more expensive because it takes more effort to do this, but it would be cool if, like, in the Iron Man, the scent the cream filling is red, and make it cherry flavored or something. Maybe Iron Man and Spider-Man, characters who main color palette is red. Then you could do blue with Captain America, um, or Captain America, I guess you could go the whole gamut, red, white, and blue. Um, but anyway, do different flavors within the same one with different color. I really am disappointed anytime I see these Oreos and they'll have a different colored cream, but then when you read it, the cream is just a different color. I don't care about that. Who
Yeah, I
cares?
don't either. I was
Who
excited
cares?
back when they did, Grant's favorite artist, Post Malone, came out with
Yeah.
Oreos, and he was
And
excited.
those things were I
Yeah,
thought they
those were
were
great.
good.
That was
They
one of
were
my favorite
great.
Oreos ever, other than, like, the cherry cola with Pop Rocks in it,
Mhm.
that was I think my favorite ever.
Yeah, the cherry
Um,
colas with Five Rocks, that was the best. The Post Malone, we tried those with you guys. They were great. That is an acceptable use of caramel flavoring.
yeah, I
That
think
was
so,
great.
it was
That
just
was
enough in
great.
there, but yeah, I mean, it's I hate that they don't do a little bit more with the things
Yeah.
anymore, although I have started to see I know they're tried. There's definitely been more, um, TV and character and movie themed serials lately than there used to be,
Mhm.
so it's just maybe nothing that I'm super interested in, but I'm happy for the kids that are able to get those, different cereals, so that's awesome for them.
That's why I say, like, the Fantastic Four promotion was such a dud as far as I was concerned, just because, A, eh, put them on the shelves. I mean, you might actually get a kid that liked the movie, or it might have made somebody excited to see the movie. Who knows? It may have done nothing, but it sure wouldn't have been any worse than I'm sure the way they handled it because, A, just the concept that you're gonna jack the price of your cereal up to $20 because it's got a little plastic toy in it, that's ridiculous. That should
Yeah.
just be part of the and especially when it turned out to be the cheap little thing that it actually was. And so
And
I
they should
I
have been
I
4s with, like, Herbie-shaped marshmallows.
Yes, exactly. Right, they should have done, like, a themed version of the cereal, that would have been great. But, you know, we had all that cool stuff in the '80s and '90s, I would love to, because I really do, you know, we I guess it's a trade-off off because the idea the idea of being able to watch any movie or cartoon or whatever you want to on this device you carry around with you at all times, when I was a kid, that would have sounded like heaven. But looking back at it as an adult, I'm glad I did not grow up with that stuff just because, well, we're seeing a lot of the negative impacts of the iPad generation of kids raised on iPads, how bad that is for kids, I think. But just looking back at it, I would not it would kind of be, I think, with what kids today. They're bored easily. Like they don't have long attention spans. Whereas we didn't have that. We had to like if you saw a movie that you loved, well, guess what? Hope you memorized it because you may not see it again for years.
I know, I
And
know.
but to a certain degree, it made me appreciate those things that I loved more because I couldn't access them anytime I wanted.
Yeah. I do say though, I mean, with that, I've noticed more and more, and I know we talk about this all the time, but buying physical is something that I really am starting to focus on a
Oh,
little bit
we're
more
yeah,
because
I am totally on buying if it's anything I care about at all, media-wise, I want a physical copy of it.
yeah, because now they're like even going back and changing parts of movies now
Uh-huh.
and not really saying anything and then just putting it back out on Disney and acting like it's
Yeah,
no big deal. And that's kind of wild. So yeah, I just want to get the and that doesn't have to be the 4K ultras or anything, whatever. Just give me a good, Blu-ray or a DVD of things and let
yeah,
me, get into the things that I
yeah.
really like and
Well,
you know,
at my age, my eyes don't even see in 4K anymore,
I don't
so
think mine do either.
uh,
I did make a huge mistake the other week. I had picked up Fright Night 2 and was excited about it. And I probably should, I mean, that's my fault because I didn't look a little closer. But there are two versions of Flight Night 2. There's like a remake of that, and then there's the original that has all the original actors in it, minus Jerry Dandridge, who obviously couldn't be in Fright Night 2 because he was dead.
Oh,
Um,
right, okay.
but I mean, it's the same characters from the first movie. And so but I mean, the other one was good. I like this Fright Night 2. It just wasn't the one that I thought that I had.
So when you say they remade it, like at a later time, like,
Oh,
is it
yeah.
so
Years
because
later, they did a Fright Night 2.
I know they remade Fright Night.
They deal
What, like 20 that's probably 20 years old at this point, or maybe 10 years o I forget exactly when they remade Fright Night, because that's a is it Colin Farrell that's the
yeah, he's
vampire?
pretty good at it, though.
Yeah. I've never seen the remake, I will say that. I've only seen the original version with, the prince from Princess Bride
Oh,
as
yeah.
the vampire, but, and of course, anything with Roddy McDowell in
Yeah,
it
so there's
is
an
awesome.
'88 with Roddy McDowell, and
Yep.
there's a 2013.
Ha. Oh, so the Fright Night 2 is a sequel because I'm
Yeah, it's a
thinking
sequel.
it's a sequel to the Colin Farrell one, I'm guessing, because
Uh,
didn't that one come out in 2010?
no, the 2013 is, like, completely different. It doesn't really involve any of those other things. It has the same character names, but it's just its own movie. It's not a sequel to the, Colin Farrell movie.
And they
But the
call it
19
Fright Night 2?
Yeah,
Wow.
which is
Fright Night
weird.
2: New Blood, I see that,
Yeah,
wow. So
but
it's literally so it's a sequel to the original movie?
well, no, it's not even that. It's just
Okay.
a completely it's weird. It has the same character names, and they're not great, but the overall movie's pretty decent, but
Oh,
yeah,
wow. Yeah, it just
the
freaks.
88 is amazing, and it
Yeah.
honestly, I think, is probably it's just as good, and it honestly it could be better than the first. It's an amazing
Well,
movie.
when it gets closer to Halloween, we'll have to set up a schedule to talk about the Fright Night movies because I have not seen Fright Night 1 or 2 in a very long time. I've never seen the 2011 remake, and so maybe I'll take a look at that. But yeah, looking at the Wikipedia page, it says that it's not a sequel to the 2011 and makes no references to the original film, but is a reboot of Fright Night. So that's always weird when they name movies like that. Fright Night 2, New Blood, but it's not actually a sequel to anything.
No, no.
It's a reboot of Fright Night.
And honestly, I just I had so many other things in my cart, and I just kind of was walking, and I saw that, and I picked it up, and it was like, I think like $1.50 or something wild. I'm like, "Oh, well, I'll take this home. This is great." And then I immediately was like, "This is not the same movie that I remember." And
Uh,
then I looked at it, I'm like, "Oh, this is not the same movie at all." So I went ahead and watched it. I'm like, it's not the best movie for certain, but it's not the worst horror movie I've ever watched. It's one I could throw on
yeah.
in October and laugh and have a good time and move on, but
Yeah,
I
we'll
definitely
have to
want the
do
other
that.
Fright
I
Night
know
too.
this past year we had a movie night where we all watched, Monster Squad. So maybe this year we'll do, uh yeah, and at some point, I guess you and I we should finish it and do a discussion of the Rankin Bass Mad Monster Party because oh god, that needs to be talked about.
It does, and I just don't understand it. There's so many people that
I
love it.
love it. They love it,
And
and
I'm
I am like,
wondering,
"This."
did I miss something? Did I go on with the wrong mentality? Did I watch it too late?
I don't know because 'cause I'm right there with you because I couldn't even make it through the whole thing. I'm like, "I'm ready for this to end. This is horrible." But you're right. I mean, I actually had never heard of it before and saw other YouTubers do videos talking about how this was like a kind of a forgotten Rankin Bass holiday classic that never gets shown. It doesn't have the love of Rudolph or any of the other holiday specials. And after us watching it, I am like, I understand why this was buried. Some things maybe should be forgotten. Although in a way, it is so bad, I think it would be worth the 2 of us we didn't finish it, maybe we should finish it and then just do a dive on it 'cause, well, that sounds like good holiday, something good to discuss around
Hey, that's
Halloween.
definitely something. I mean, we already got like sounds like 2 things for October already done, so
Yeah, yeah, we could because I definitely would love to, rewatch Fright Night. Lost Boys is one I was gonna mention in a similar vein to what you're talking about, no pun intended. Um when we were at McKay's around Halloween last year, they had a display up front with, all the Halloween themed DVDs and everything. They'd kind of pulled them all together, and I picked up a 3-pack. It's one of those where it's the Lost Boys collection, and it's got Lost Boys and then Lost Boys 2 and 3. And I believe there's actually even a 4th
I
movie. I don't
think
think it's
there
called
is, yeah.
Lost Boys 4, but it's called Lost Boys something else. And I'm like, of course, the only one I've ever seen or care about is the original Lost Boys. And so at some point, I may actually rewatch the sequels. And I believe they were all direct to video,
I
kinda low
like
budget
Lost Boys:
stuff.
The Tribe. I enjoyed that movie. I knew it wasn't gonna be Lost Boys. Nothing is going to be Lost Boys.
Mhm.
Um, but I thought Kiefer Sutherland's son was really good in the movie. I thought that, the other actors were pretty good. I liked the storyline behind it all. I enjoyed that. It's I mean, it's not a classic or anything of that nature, but it's just one of those that I just disagree with people that trash it to death. It's not atrocious. I actually would, if it's on TV, I'm going to finish watching it because it's not horrible. It's
Mhm.
just if you go into it expecting Lost Boys, nothing is going to touch that.
Yeah, that's a
That's
classic. That
you
is like
can't
a
redo
yeah.
that. So I don't know. Well, listen, Wheel, good gracious, we've hit our time and greatly surpassed it. I'm happy to keep talking, but I don't want to impose on people that kind of expect about an hour out of us either. So
Yep.
we
Yep.
probably should shut it down.
Yeah,
But
probably should, I hope that, we have gotten good traction with our focused episodes where we kinda talk about a single subject, but I'll be honest, I still like doing these kinda uh, train of thought kind of episodes where we just
I do
kind of
too.
talk about anything that, that we find interesting. I hope other people find it interesting, but I'll be honest, it doesn't matter if they don't or not. We're gonna just keep recording these and posting them, and at some point, somebody will. Well, I'm sure there's someone else out there who's gonna find that interesting.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I just want at some point in any of our episodes, and we maybe should even start the episodes with this because nobody's going to listen this deep anyway. I mean, except for people that really enjoy it. Like, if there's things that people want to hear us talk about, specific TV shows or pop culture, 70s and 80s kind of things, like if you, other than the same stuff that everybody does, that's the thing that I don't want to do. I don't want to just repeat something that if you start to search it up, there's, 15 other podcasts that have already covered it. But if there's things, just leave it in the comments. I mean, I
Yes,
mean, we're gonna read it,
we're
we're gonna
gonna
see
read
it,
the
and
comments
we're
if people.
probably gonna do it.
Yep. Yep, I agree. I
So,
second that completely.
all right, man. Well, it's been fun, and I'll be honest with you, man. This week cannot go by fast enough, but I've learned not to rush my weeks by either. So I'm really looking forward to Saturday,
Yep, so am
trying to
I.
plan out this week everything that we're going to do, and then even when we get back having dinner and stuff that evening, it's going to be a lot of fun too. So
Oh, yeah, yeah,
it's
because
gonna be a
we,
good Saturday.
one little, we should I picked up again, not it's new, but it's a property that's retro is Tecmo Bowl, the board game, and so, maybe we should shoot a little footage of us playing Tecmo Bowl, the board game,
And
'cause
that could be
that would be a nice little.
foray back into making videos and getting
Yeah,
on that video train again. Because
yeah,
I've got,
that
other than forget it, because my mind is just, I should just set an alarm on Saturdays or Sundays, whatever day we decide to keep recording on. But I just get into doing stuff, and then I look at the
yeah,
clock. It's like 9. I'm like, oh my gosh, I just let the whole
yeah.
day go by.
I figure as long as the new episode of the podcast is up on Monday, we're good. That seems to be our cadence now is, yeah, we record on the weekend. We're, if you can post it to the podcast platforms, I'll post it to YouTube on Monday. That at least is consistent and people get used to that. And so, but anyway, I hope everyone has a great week. Um, Definitely listen to next week's episode because I know that we're going to be talking about things we found, interesting things we saw at the show and out and about, and so I'm excited about it, and I just hope everybody will rejoin us as we look at the retro stuff that we find out in the wild.
Yeah, man, sounds good. All right, Matt. I'll see you this weekend, man. And thanks to all that listened, and we will see you on the next episode.
Bye.